Well, hello everyone. It's time for one of my little chats. This is kind of a PS or a part two or just additional information about shadow work. I've got a video in my playlist called Self-Improvement where I talk about shadow work, my experience with healing, shadow work, however you want to look at it. And I talk about it more in terms of the different stages of healing that I have gone through, and typically the order that they occur in. But the reason I want to talk about this is I did a post in one of my groups last night in Facebook, and I'm not going to lie, I have been going through some shadow work, and many of my close soul family members are going through shadow work as well, which I find very interesting. Given everything that's going on astrologically, it certainly makes sense with everything that I know. And I'm not an astrologist, but I do keep up with things enough to kind of know what to expect. And I talk with others who I have a lot of respect for and who are oftentimes mentors of mine. And a lot of the things I learn from them and just in talking. But a lot of people are going through healing of various things right now. And the post really just described, it was all about this. What does shadow work feel like? What does healing feel like when you're right in the throes of everything? I'm going to do my best to describe how it feels to me, okay? In the most intense moments, if you will, it can be quite unsettling, quite painful, and quite confusing, particularly if you've not gone through it before. So maybe this will kind of help you to understand you're not crazy and you're not alone, right? So many of us agree on what I'm about to say. For me, first, let's do this. And I don't even have notes. This is I'm just totally freestyling. But your shadow self, Carl Jung, Jung, if you decide to Google this or whatever, was a pioneer in the area of your shadow self, which your shadow self is literally your subconscious. And by definition, it's the beliefs in your subconscious, typically about yourself, that you're not even aware of, okay? And how the shadow self even happens over your life is that you have a feeling or an action or something of that nature that you yourself, for whatever reason, feel that it's unacceptable, right? And so you bury it. And it goes into your little suitcase and the back of your closet, right? Buried underneath everything, and you kind of forget about it. And it may be years later before you actually work through the pieces, certain pieces and parts, right? That has certainly been the case for me and many other people that I know as well. It's kind of strange because for me, I seem to be going in backwards chronological order. I don't know. But anyway, not always, but here's how things happen for me. And, it will, the realization that it's there, for me, feels like I got hit by a freight train. It's just boom, overwhelming, like water, cold water, ice water in your face. And it's just this sudden realization. And, I liken it in the tarot to the tower moment of just, and really that's what it is. Because, the tarot card, the tower in the tarot is literally something that was built on false beliefs that is crumbling to the ground, right? And what it's doing is it's clearing so that you can work through this to build something strong on that same foundation. You're not completely starting from scratch. You've got your foundation. It's just building something right, but you can't do that because you got to get the house of cards and the false beliefs and all the dense energy out of the way. So that's kind of what I liken it to. But at any rate, it can feel debilitating. Puts you in a state of paralysis, literally. Shock, disbelief, like, you know, how could I have thought that? How could I have done that? You know, how could I believe that about myself? You know, all of those things. And I will tell you this, you know, the easiest thing to do, and what most of us do in the world, is we just, as soon as that hits us like that, we do something to immediately distract ourselves. Right? Am I wrong? You'll pick up the alcohol, right? You'll go shopping. You'll go online shopping. You'll get on Facebook. You'll get on your social media. And I'm not preaching against any of those things. I love having a glass of wine from time to time, certainly. I like to shop, of course, you know, of course I do. You know, I'm a Gemini. We're very socially interactive. So certainly, you know, it would be very easy for me to, you know, pick up and mess with social media, pick up the phone, call a friend, do anything I can to distract myself until the feeling goes away. And there is a toxic positivity that is taught out there, and it is toxic, okay? And I'll tell you why. It would advocate, you know, doing something to distract yourself, okay? From when those things hit. But here's what happens. If you bury it, it's going to create toxicity within you. Because here's the thing. Most of the time, the things that hit your shadow are there because of some pain. Okay? Pain of, you don't want to have to deal with the fact that you hurt somebody, or they hurt you, or that you felt this kind of way, or you believed that you weren't good enough, beautiful enough, smart enough, strong enough, whatever. Right? Okay? It's not acceptable. I don't want to think about it, so I'm just going to think about something else. I'm going to get up and make myself busy. Right? Okay. That's the easy way to do it. But it's just going to create more problems in every area of your life, because it's going to manifest in your own self-esteem and your own ability to work the law of attraction, right? And everything. But the high road is the hard road. But it leads to healing. And that is this. Just let it happen. Just sit down. Get quiet. Be by yourself. You know, I made the comment in my post, I don't think anyone really makes an appointment in their date book. Today I will deal with my shadow work because it's so much fun. No. I mean, now actually there are folks that can do this. For me, I have not developed this skill yet. I hope maybe I can do that sometime. But for right now, it hits me like a freight train. And when it does, I believe, for me anyway, the reason that it has to hit so hard, so fast, and so abruptly is because it forces me to see something that I don't want to see, right? And that's how it feels. And then, so sit down, whatever, you know, and I'm going to tell you, you allow yourself to feel the feelings, remorse, regret. And you know what? The pain, and ask yourself, you know, why you feel this way, why you fed yourself this, you know, stuff. And through this process, you know, I can guarantee you, when I'm working shadow work, I have more ugly crying and more, you know, a yucky looking face, mascara running down. I mean, I don't ever want anybody to see me going through that, right? Screaming and crying and shaking and, you know, whatever the case may be, to walk through those feelings. Because look, the feelings, we lied to ourselves. Feelings are not good or bad. They just are. What you have to do is to go deep and find out why you feel that way, right? Why you feel like you're not good enough. Why you've given up hope on this, that, or the other, right? Or why you treated so-and-so like you did, you know? And you know what? Regardless of whether the person hurt you or you hurt them, you got to forgive yourself, right? For your role in it. And you got to see your role in it too, right? So here's the thing. Here's how it feels. Inside, here's what's literally happening. Inside your shadow is all this dense energy, just, you know, it's yucky, nasty energy, and we've got it packed tight in that suitcase, right? You can't sage it out. You can't do whatever. Now, certainly you'll want to smudge after you do shadow work or do whatever you need to do to clear the energy around you. But until you let it out of that suitcase, it's just going to stay right there, right? But while you're working through it, and you're feeling those feels, and you're crying those tears, and you're screaming, and you're shaking, and you're crying, and your insides feel like they're just tearing up. Here's what's happening energetically that's causing the reaction physically that's going on. Here is what's happening on a spiritual level. This will hopefully make you understand what you're feeling inside. It is this. Down inside that shadow is all that dense, dark energy, right? The lies, the pain, the anger, right? The unacceptable feelings that you won't accept about yourself and acknowledge. And here's what happened. Because you committed to yourself a long time ago that you were going to be a better person every day, here's what you did. You wrote a written, engraved invitation for divine source energy to come into you. And here's what happens. It shined the light, divine source, beautiful, pure source love energy hit bright on this dark energy down here. And this is what's going on. These two energies are literally at war inside your soul. And it feels, it is a battle, okay? It is. Those two energies cannot coexist. The truth and a lie cannot coexist, right? And so when you submit and you just sit down and you allow yourself to work through that stuff, that's what's happening. The divine source energy is at war and getting rid of all that toxicity, that dark, dense crap that's in there, and it feels like a war, and you shake, right? And you feel your insides, and your mind is racing. You feel like you're losing your mind, and you think, when am I going to get some relief, right? And you know, if you've gone through this before, it's going to get better. And you also know this. It may take a few hours, a few days. Who knows? It depends on you, the situation, right? How hard you fight it, right? All of those things come into play. The easiest and best way is to fully submit when that happens and just let yourself, receive the spiritual, surgery from divine source love, right? That's the quickest way to work through it, to not fight it, right? To let it happen. And when you feel like you can't hold on another second and you're just literally looking at the clock going, oh my God, I don't think I can make it another 60 seconds. I'm losing my mind. You're pulling your hair out. You're screaming. You're crying. You're throwing stuff, whatever, right? And for me, this is how it works for me. I'll work through all that, right? And then I'll go meditate and I'll get into theta state. And if you look on my playlist, there's a lot of information. My playlist called Self-Improvement. There's a lot of information to guide you through what to do to get to theta state, easy peasy to do, and what to do when you're there to work on your subconscious beliefs. Because the theta state is literally, in a conscious way, it is one step above sleep. So it is literally where we are dealing with our subconscious, right? We're just kind of out of it. But that's where you can talk to your subconscious, right? And you can give the right information to your subconscious. You can ask your subconscious questions even, and there's videos about that. Cannot think of the Mind, Body, Spirit, I think is the channel. I've linked his stuff in my playlist, okay, several things in there, and he's got a lot more stuff on his channel too that's really useful and informative. But the thing is this, it doesn't matter what you tell yourself in the mirror every morning. If you don't work through the subconscious beliefs, you're not going to believe it and you're not going to act on it. You've got to work on your subconscious. And the only way I know how to do that is how I just told you. But at any rate, I do that just as I'm about to go to sleep, right? Because it is a pretty relaxed state. And for me, it's almost like the next morning, it feels like the calm after a storm has hit. It's not the eye of the storm, it's the calm. And it's not like anything is different, except everything feels different. It's just this quiet peace. And it's a hard, dark night of the soul, okay? Every time you hit shadow work, right? I think of that that poem, Do Not Go Gentle Into This Good Night. I don't know if you're familiar with it. And the meaning of the poem is a little bit different than shadow work, but you do feel like you're dying, right? It talks about fighting death is what the poem is about. But at any rate, I digress. But the turmoil and the battle that you feel, it is a battle. It is a spiritual battle. It is an energetic battle. And that's why you feel the war, right? But just trust the process, right? Because as with anything else, when the universe steps in and gives us guidance and help, it's so much easier to not fight the process, right? You hear me say this a lot. You know, going with the universe is almost like feeling assisted, like when you walk with a river current in the same direction, the exact same energy to take a step, you get a lot further just in one step than if you take that exact same energy to make a step against the current. And if you fight the shadow work and the healing, that's going to be the difference. It's going to be so much easier if you trust the process than if you try to fight it, right? I am not about to sit here and tell you I understand everything about shadow work. I know what it is and I recognize it and I know how it feels. And so I'm here to tell you, you're not alone. You're not crazy. You know, you're seen and you matter. And if you didn't matter, then you wouldn't be having this work to do, because trust and believe, if we continue to work through our baggage, we are going to manifest better things and abundance in every single area. It's going to make you so much stronger. And, you know, the stronger we become, the gentler we are. I'm just going to say that. I hope this has helped some of you. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to my channel. And of course, comment below. I would love to hear your thoughts and, you know, how your experiences working through the healing process are similar or different. I think the more information we share with each other, the more helpful it is to everyone, right? So please don't hesitate to share. And if you ever need to, you know how to reach me through email, enchantedcottage333@gmail.com, right? I wish you all brightest blessings and send you major healing energy.